And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Toe the Line with me, George Glinsky, joined today by BKB debutant, Lawrence Tracey. Lawrence, how are we doing, man?
Not too bad, thanks, brother.
Very good.
Just out for my lovely little dog walk. That's why I'm chatting to you, and it's got the bit of nature in the background. Happy days.
Where are you? Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Cheltenham, Gloucestershire. So I'm pretty sure as well, there's no one else from Gloucestershire that's fought on BKB. So that's pretty sweet as well, to be fair.
I think you must be right. I mean, there's not. Gloucestershire, we are talking southern England, aren't we? Whereabouts is that in geography for England?
Yeah, it's like southwest.
Southwest,
yeah,
southwest.
Not too far away from like Wales and things, where you got quite a few boys from that end. But no, we're not too far away. Not too far away from my opponent who lives in Bristol, apparently.
Very true, very true. So yeah, another southern fighter. Really happy about that. There's not many of us on these cards. It's mostly northern lads and Welsh lads. So great. A lot of people won't know who you are, obviously being your debut. You are fighting Godfrey Jr. on the 11th of September. But I wanted to just get a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you were a professional mixed martial arts fighter before 6 and 5. So how did that start for you?
I started mixed martial arts. Basically, I was playing sort of semi-professional rugby, and ended up with a couple of hamstring injuries, which was pretty much down to being super inflexible. And I was meant to be sort of doing some yoga or some sort of rehab to sort it out. And I decided to watch Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and thought, oh, that's a good way to get flexible. Go do kickboxing. And before I knew it, instead of rugby, I was just doing kickboxing and pretty much went from there.
And your professional MMA debut, what age were you when you first did that?
Well, I had my first MMA fight when I was 24, after basically doing about 2-3 months of training. So looking back on it, that was pretty stupid. But ended up winning by a bit of fluke. And then I turned pro when I was 29. And never looked back, mate. Absolutely love it. Love fighting.
So now bare-knuckle boxing seems like the logical progression. I mean, mixed martial arts is pretty much the next big thing in terms of brutality. So I guess this is a bucket list to fight bare-knuckle, or are you looking to make a real career out of this?
To be honest, mate, I am literally tailor-made for bare-knuckle boxing. It's, you know what I mean? I love coming forward. I love throwing hands. I'm happy to stay in the pocket, or I can dance and move. I can do it all in BKB. I mean, obviously I haven't fought yet, so you know it's a lot of hot air at this point. But I can assure you, my aim is to do very well in the sport.
And you've got to have a bit of confidence. Obviously, guys such as Ricardo Franco, Daniel Lowell, you've seen a lot of guys coming in from mixed martial arts background. I think a lot of that has to do with knowing your range, because naturally, when you first fight bare knuckle, it's about getting that range. A lot of the boxers are used to those 10-ounce gloves. Does that breed confidence in you that so many mixed martial arts fighters have been so successful in the sport?
Well, for sure. I mean, to be honest, I don't massively follow any individual guys and what their background is and things. Like, I'll watch some BKB fights, and you know, whoever it is just going to super impress me. But I haven't looked at their background particularly. But I know that I'll spar with pro boxers, and whilst they are very impressive with what they do, it wouldn't necessarily work when you switch up and wear either small MMA gloves or go bare knuckle, because you only have to get hit once, or in bare minimum you're going to get a nice big cut across your face, even if you don't get knocked out. So you've got to fight a little bit differently. So a lot of my sparring isn't necessarily chuck a headgear on, massive 20-ounce gloves and go hell for leather. It's fight smart, put the 7-ounce MMA gloves on, and you know, cut those angles and work properly. So you know, I think the MMA guys are far more suited for exactly the reason you were saying. They're just able to deal with the fact that, you know, their guard is totally different. They can understand that distance.
No, that is the key. That really is. So when did you find out that bare knuckle boxing was legal? A lot of guys are really just finding out that this is a thing. When did you find out about this opportunity?
Oh, it's legal.
Yeah, apparently so.
Fuck, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, you get paid as well.
What, sweet. Somebody told me that there. They didn't have me on. But no, I mean, to be fair, BKB was the first thing that I saw that was sort of there's stuff going on in America and all over the world, but as far as I'm concerned, BKB is the first little bit or little snippets that I saw TV, YouTube that was showing it. And at that time, it was just sort of looked like it was in kind of like a town hall or something like that. You know, not like some massive venues like it is now, like in the O2. So yeah, mate. I mean, fair play. It's come a long way in a very short time.
And what initially appealed? I mean, I watch bare-knuckle boxing as a fan, and I think, you know, great sport. You know, it's a very brutal sport, but I think, would I want to do it? Probably not. I'll stick to the bitch mitten. So what appeals to you about bare-knuckle boxing?
You know, it just suits me. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a definite skill to fighting with the gloves on. There's no doubt about that. And I'll spar with some, and you know, I can definitely appreciate that sort of skill level, but it's not real fighting in the sense that, you know, as soon as you take the gloves off, the difference is so dramatic. I mean, that small change, it might not seem like that much. It's a huge change. Changes your guard, change the way you fight, change the angles you pick, and the shot selection you can have. I mean, even if you throw your punches slightly differently, because you don't want to fuck up your hands, basically, and things like that. So, I mean, for me, I feel like I'm tailor-made for that sort of style. I like to come forward. I like to throw hands. I like to get stuck in. I've got no problem with getting hit either. So, you know, it's like a perfect sport for me.
Yeah, definitely. And your opponent, Darren Godfrey Jr., what do you know about him? Have you watched any tape?
Yeah, I got sent his last fight on BKB by Jim. Obviously, like, you know, at the end of the day, he shots off. I can't remember who he fought. He took some shots, and they were pretty good shots, to be fair. And he took some of them really well, and obviously others put him on the floor. Do you know what I mean? So I couldn't really take all that much from that. So I looked him up on YouTube to see what other fights he had. Turned out he was a title holder in some other promotions. So, you know, he's no joke. He's obviously come in with the idea that he's going to take over a bit of BKB, and you know, he's now getting another opportunity with me. But I think it's going to be a bit too much for him, to be perfectly honest.
How do you see this fight going? Obviously, he's comes from a boxing background. He did a bit of kickboxing as well. So in that sense, you have that similar background. But where do you see this going, the MMA fighter versus the boxer?
It's you know, boxing and kickboxing, do you know what I mean? Like, bless him, it's nothing like fighting MMA. Do you know what I mean? Like, you get hit with bare hands, tiny little 4-ounce gloves. You know, it's a total different game. And it's the same thing with the bare knuckle. And I just think that the experience that I've got, while it might not be in bare knuckle boxing, I've got way more experience in actual combat sports, especially stuff that's actually close to BKB. And I think it's going to be really telling on the night.
And this opportunity, it's been around for a long time. You have been on posters, you know, we have seen your face, but we're yet to see you in the ring. You were supposed to fight Johnny Collins, I believe. I think it was, when was it that you were originally matched? Because obviously COVID's thrown everything into play.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that was about a year ago. That's when I first got into talks with BKB about doing some fights. And I was originally matched with Johnny. Again, he was another boxer. It was his debut. So, yeah, it would have been a good match on paper. But yeah, that all fell through due to lockdown. And so I've had a whole year, basically, of possibly fighting, not fighting, getting matched, not getting matched. And I've been pestering Jim as well. I send him loads of blooming messages being like, get me on this next card, get me on this next card.
Yeah.
And then he'll put a post up going, oh, I hate it when people pester me. And I'm like, fuck you, you're not talking about me. But no, I don't think he is, to be fair. But I bet, obviously, being a promoter, you get shitloads of bloody messages. So yeah, it is what it is, isn't it?
With that year off, were you preparing specifically for bare-knuckle boxing, or are you still mixing things up? Obviously, you will have changed things for this camp, but in general.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been fighting mixed martial arts in the meantime. I still managed to get a fight in during lockdown and things like that on Cage Warriors. So it's not like I've been inactive, and you know, we've got loads of pro fighters at our gym, all of which we're still fighting. And you know, because we were professional athletes, we were able to still carry on training, like so long as we stayed in, you know, the small groups and the small numbers and all that sort of stuff, stayed in our bubble. So I haven't really had any time off at all. And then the transition to BKB is very comfortable for me. So this camp, I've obviously just done way more with just the hands and not had to worry too much about, you know, the kicks and the takedowns and all that stuff. So to be honest, it's just made it even more fun, and my cardio is through the roof at the moment.
So before we go into sponsors and thanks and people you got to thank for this journey so far, what is the goal? You're a new fighter in this sport. What do you want to achieve in BKB?
I've been watching the fights and the fighters on BKB, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of people that have done stuff and I've gone, yeah, fair play, that's impressive. But there is nobody, especially in the sort of weight classes that I'm in, that's doing anything where I'm sort of like, oh no, I can't be that guy. Every single person out there looks very beatable to me. I'm looking straight away to be taking that British title at bare minimum. As soon as that's over, I'm coming for that world title. So, you know, no disrespect to Darren. And, you know, I'm sure he's a nice guy and all that sort of thing. But he's just a bit of a stepping stone for me at the moment. Does that mean I'm overlooking him? No. I've trained super hard for this fight. I'm in peak physical condition. But, you know, I just think I'm going to be far too much for him.
So finally, actually, before we go in, prediction. Have we got a particular prediction for this fight?
Well, I only fight one way, and that is to absolutely unload on people. I know that I've got power, so I always throw hard, and I can do that all day long, especially if you're only going to give me 2-minute rounds. So, yeah, it's not like I'm not going to be able to come out swinging. Don't get me wrong, I'm obviously going to be conscious of the fact that he could be doing the same. I don't want to walk on anything silly, but, you know, it's going to be an explosive fight right from the start. So it's not one you want to blink on, put it that way.
Definitely. So people you've got to thank. There's got to be a lot of people, you know, supporting you on this journey, this new transition to bare-knuckle boxing. Yeah,
I'm super lucky. I've got some amazing sponsors, but I'll give a shout out to Gravitate Sport, who've been my clothing sponsor recently. They've been phenomenal, hooking me up with loads and loads of kit and things like that. So they've been amazing, and all my other sponsors, all those guys, you know, a lot of them are friends of mine as well. So, you know, they know who they are, and, you know, I appreciate them massively. And I got a fantastic missus and my kids and family. So I'm very lucky, very blessed.
Definitely. Well, Lawrence Tracey, really looking forward to this fight. You've talked the talk, so now it's time to walk the walk. We look forward to seeing you on the 11th September, man.
Appreciate it, George. Thanks, buddy.